let's get right into this review for The Smashing Machine. Alright, so this film is directed by Benny Safdie and stars Dwayne Johnson as the main lead, with notable performances coming from Emily Blunt and Ryan Bader in their side roles. It's safe to say that the entire cast did a spot-on job with their characters here, and I had no problems with the casting whatsoever, so kudos to everyone involved. Now that I watched the film, what did I think about the cinematic package here? I thought this was a pretty solid time. In this story, we follow the ups and downs of Mark Kerr's life in his pioneering journey of establishing himself as an MMA fighter. And really a solid portion of the film had me enticed in its drama and seeing Kerr fight his own personal battles in and out of the fighting cage. Now I can't wholeheartedly say that this drama is entirely unique though as a cinematic package. We've seen these types of stories before about fighters in the ring overcoming both physical and mental battles, but nonetheless I still found this experience to be more enjoyable than not, and I think it holds up well enough to be a worthy addition to other similar dramas to it. There's also a slice of life element to this film as well, which I learned to appreciate at different portions of the story. We're not necessarily seeing quick-paced segments to get right into the point, and there's this fine line where the screenplay tugs the story forward, but also provides moments of inconsequential segments that do inevitably help to chip away into the bigger picture of Mark Kerr's character and the other lives that surround him. So there's something about the slow burn pacing that worked for me. With that being said, it's safe to say that I was captivated for the majority of the 2 hour and 3 minute runtime. Now I will say though, there's a certain element to the overarching story that felt a bit unsatisfying in regards to the conclusion to this film. The story just comes to a pretty disappointing halt, especially after witnessing all the slow burn buildup in the latter half of Act 2. You might say the climax of Act 3 doesn't play out in the cinematic underdog tale sense that one has come to expect in these types of dramatic fighting films. But then again, this is based on a true story, so it's kind of hard to judge the core story route and the pacing of it all. And after everything considered, I think my main problem with this film is how mediocre at times the translation of Kerr's story felt in the narrative format after pondering post-screening. I think a book or documentary series would have provided more beneficial for the telling of his tale. My final score for The Smashing Machine is 7.5 out of 10. All in all, I had a pretty solid time witnessing Mark's journey, and I don't think the telling of his story will get any better than this as a cinematic experience. This was a biopic that decently translated into the screenplay format, great visuals to pair along with the story, and solid acting from all those involved made this entire experience feel earned by the end. I think if what you saw in the trailers intrigued you, you can't go wrong with checking this film out at the theaters. Anyways, thanks for checking this review out. I'll have more coming out next week, so stay tuned for that, and I shall see you on my next upload. Until then, stay safe out there, and peace.